I'd like to bring your attention to the Straw Hat Riots that overtook New York in the summer of 1922. In the early 1900s, it was common for men to wear hats, and these hats changed with the seasons. During the summer, men would wear straw hats because they're cooler, like temperature-wise, not style-wise. And then when summer ended, they would switch to wool hats for warmth. Unfortunately, this switch tended to happen arbitrarily. The rule was you could put your straw hat on May 15th, but you better put it back in the closet by September 15th. Like all hard and fast societal rules, there were consequences if you didn't follow the tailored taboos. If you were caught wearing your summer sombrero past September 15th, you could expect to have it knocked off your head and stomped on. It was even socially acceptable for you to take your friend's hat and destroy it in front of them if they wore it past the deadline. Newspapers even published articles reminding men that the summer switch was coming so they could avoid cap conflicts. Most people tended to treat this as a harmless prank, but as the case often is, teenagers took it to a whole nother level. In 1922, a group of teens in New York decided to start their hat hatred a few days early on September 13th. Teens began their derby destruction in Old Mulberry end of Manhattan. While these teens managed to get away with their shenanigans in this area, they tried to take it down to the dock workers and they faced more opposition. A full-on physical fight ensued. The New York Tribune reported some of the action. Boys who were guided by the calendar rather than the weather, and most of all by their own troublemaking proclivities, indulged in a straw hat smashing orgy throughout the city last night. A dozen or more were arrested, and 7 were spanked ignominiously by their parents in East 104th Street Police Station by the order of the lieutenant at his desk. Police, who were drastically outnumbered by teens, found themselves in the mix as well. Officers would have their hats knocked off only to have the teens take off afterward. If the police did manage to break up a group of hat haters, they would only reform a few blocks away. In a story of true American capitalism, hat stores stayed open late to help people replace hats that had been smashed. This pubescent pastime resulted in 3 days of rioting throughout the streets of New York. Teenagers gathered in large groups, forcing people to walk through their gauntlets in order to keep their hats. Reports claim gatherings of close to 1,000 teenagers amassed to siege hat-clad New Yorkers. In the 3 days of the Straw Hat Riots, hundreds of people were attacked and beaten for their choices in hats. Some were even attacked by teens armed with clubs covered in nails. Dozens of individuals ended up in the hospital as a result of their attacks. While no one died during the 3 days, that all changed in the summer of 1924. A man was killed as a result of the beating he received for his hat choice. This tradition continued until 1925. President Calvin Coolidge, using the power of presidential persuasion, chose to continue wearing his straw hat past September 15th, marking a change in the tradition. And as a result, the taboo against seasonal hats began to wane, granting safety for those who were calendar challenged. So what are your thoughts on the Straw Hat Riot of 1922? Why do you think people finally decided to fight back? Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked this video, do me a favor and hit the like button and hit subscribe while you're at it if you want to see more content like this. If you've got ideas on future topics, feel free to leave it down below and I'll look into it. As always, thanks for watching Rapid Rewind. I'll catch you next time.